Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Being a marketer's no sweat. You just have to manage dozens of channels, launch hundreds of campaigns, score thousands of leads, and okay, fine, it's a lot of sweat. Unless you have HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools to help you do all that and more. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Don't Blame Me, a wonderful, fantastic podcast starring supermodels, moguls, entrepreneurs. What comes after trillionaire?
I don't know.
I feel like it starts with a K.
What's after trillionaire?
Is a billionaire a million millions?
Quadrillionaire.
A quadrillion. Oh, I guess it would go with the rest of the numbers that. Okay.
Mil. By. Trillion. 3,
Trillionaire.
Quadrillion. 4.
Quadrillion. And then there's a quintillionaire. I know that because Quince. Great movie. Disney Channel original. DCOM. Wow. Wonderful. Great. So now you know how much money we have. JK.
We didn't even know. We had to look it up.
No, I had celebrity net worth. JK, subscribe to our Patreon.
How much, when you Google you, what does it say your
Oh my
net
God,
worth
that's a
is?
really
Like
good
5
question.
million?
No.
That's probably, because they're like lies.
Are you implying I don't have $5 million?
I don't know what's in your bank account, but they're always lies.
I don't know either.
Meghan.
I have a business manager because I'm not good at this. Oh my God, this is mean. First of all, the first one says she's a net worth of $100,000. No, and then the next one says 4.91 million.
So
And then 1.5 million, then 1 million. Megan, $24,000. Okay, so I'm letting you know that I definitely am not worth $4.91 million. I'm worth more than $24,000, and I don't know the rest.
This one said, as of, I was like, this says you're 25. And I said, and then it says as of 2018.
Oh, I am 25.
Meghan Rinks has no siblings.
That's a lie. I have a brother. I'm so sorry.
Belongs to white Caucasian race group.
Ooh, that's getting very clan. She
worst.
belongs.
Here's the worst part. It says that you hold a degree in designing from Florida State University.
Shut the fuck up.
Comes up with this shit.
What?
And then you have worked as a fashion stylist in Florida and Miami. Like, Miami is in Florida, but
Wait. First of all, no offense to anyone who went to like FSU, but I definitely did talk mad shit when I found out if you were from Florida, like you could get in there with like a much better, with like a really great like scholarship program. Like if you had a certain grade point average getting in there, and I was like, why doesn't California have that? And then I had this vendetta against Florida State for a really long time. Or I think it's University of Florida. No, I think it's Florida State.
it says you're 5'6".
Yeah.
Your shoe size is a size 6.
I am. Look at this so small and
And
cool.
then your eye color is dark brown.
Yes. This is all.
Like,
None of it.
correct.
You know what I will say though? They say I don't have any siblings, but then they talk about like I'm residing in Florida, doing
Where your
Florida stuff.
brother
My
is.
brother lives in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh no. Am I divorced?
No, but your favorite actor celebrity is Johnny Depp.
Oh my God.
That's the
most offensive one of this
thing on
entire thing.
Female says Megan Fox, which
I love Megan Fox. Justice for Megan Fox. Wow. This is slander. I'm suing. I'm suing this company, this website, for saying that my favorite actor is Johnny Depp.
Were you in 12 Days of Christmas?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
No, fake fan.
Sorry.
It's okay. I didn't watch it either.
During her free time, she likes to travel to new places.
No.
Who wrote this? Like, where did
think
they get
AI.
this information?
AI wrote this. They just like did a Google search and then they collected the information and they were like, now this is a fact. Lily sent me one a while ago that was like so weird. And she was like, what the hell is this?
Oh my gosh.
Well, how much? And they said my net worth was 4 million, or is that like 100,000?
That one's at 200,000.
Mm-hmm. So what does your net worth mean?
All your money, including your assets, how much everything's worth.
Yeah, my house was $11. So perfect.
But it's like after it's like paid, like completely paid for. So then the net would be like how much you owe on it and how much you paid down. So subtract that.
Okay, that's a lot of math, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, hypothetically.
So it's like your debt to income, like how much you're actually worth. So like,
yeah.
let's say you bought a car and it was like a $30,000 car.
I did recently learn that my car payments, like my lease, they're like, yeah, it's a loan. That's like what I was like, this is a loan?
Yeah.
And Moss was like looking at me like I was like crazy. My business managers were like, she saves money. She's just not good at understanding it. And like, we do our best. But I'm just there like, huh?
Yeah.
I'm so glad
until
I'm
you completely pay all of it off, it's not yours.
Yeah. I hate math.
Yeah. Well, I love it. This one says you're 5'9". We're more accurate here.
No, I'm 5'6". For what am I?
Got the eye color right.
Okay, maybe their AI is a little bit smarter.
Mm-hmm.
When this said my net worth was $200,000.
They've got Mott's name on here and everything. Full name.
Oh. It's a little creepy. But they say I'm single.
Well, it says that your husband's name is
and
then it says marital status
single,
but then has him listed as your boyfriend, dating, and husband.
Wow.
No daughters or sons though.
No, it's not as far as I know.
Mm-hmm. You did graduate from university according to this one.
Which one? Florida?
It doesn't say. It just says university.
Sick.
Main profession, actress. This one says you're worth 1 million.
I'll take it. I doubt I am, but I don't know how any of it works. Wow.
You can leave a comment. Should I leave a comment?
No. I only want to comment the other one. Johnny Depp is not my favorite actor. I cannot believe you would say that. Footnote, yes, I also did not go to Florida State University. I do, in fact, have a brother, and all these other things are wrong. But if you're not going to correct anything, correct Johnny Depp.
Yep. I'll send this in as proof.
Oh my God. Just like more like, you know what this is doing for my brand? Horrible.
Yeah.
Wow. So now you know a little bit about us and our net worth. Do you have yours?
I'm not famous enough to have one of these.
Do you have a Wikifeet?
Nope. I
Do you
never
want
have
one?
my feet out. It'll always be in socks. I'm very conscious of what I put on camera.
Dude, Wikifeet has some feet pictures of me.
My sock collection.
Oh yeah, Melissa desperately is wanting a personal Bombas sponsorship. No, Wikifeet has pictures of my feet. One time someone like was showing me them and I go, what the fuck is that from? They found parts like when my feet were out in like TV shows and shit, like shit that I'd never even seen. They had stills that I've never seen in my life.
Makes sense.
They also have ones of me that I'm like, this is really gross. Like, and they have a lot of views of ones of like, when I was like posting after I went to like my first pole dancing class and I was covered in bruises. And that's one of like the most viewed ones. Isn't that gross?
That's weird.
Yeah. So many pictures of my feet, 86 photos. 4 pictures were removed from the gallery.
Maybe they weren't actually
duplicates.
yours. Oh, duplicates.
So
I know your feet when I see them.
It says I am a 7.5, which is also correct. Anyways, this is Don't Blame Me, where we give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And you might be wondering, how are these two broads qualified? Stop asking questions.
And just listen.
Just listen. We are qualified because what we lack in credentials, we make up for in opinions.
And the big O. That's what opinion stands for, right?
Mm-hmm. Opinion. Hey, you have real credentials, though. You went to college. You were...
Yeah, so biology.
And you are you're an ordained minister.
Oh yeah, I am an ordained minister from the
And
Church of Life or something, Life Online something. I forgot what it
are you
is.
sure it's not Scientology?
It's not
Okay.
Scientology.
They did try and recruit you.
They did.
What are their credentials?
That's it.
What do I have?
You went to the University of Florida and studied design.
I know. I thought I went to Florida State University.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, don't give me. No, I'm a state school girly. don't push it too far. Yeah. So we're a call and advice podcast. So you call in, you leave us a voicemail, and then we give you wonderful, amazing advice. So if you want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. We ask that you, well, we don't ask, we demand the literal software will only allow you to send 3 minutes. So we ask that to make best use of your time, you write down everything you're going to say, practice it a couple times, time it out, like literally with a timer on your phone, have 3 minutes up, make it go bzz, bzz when you're done. And that's like the best way to make sure you get all the information in. So the more relevant information we have, the better advice we can give you. So
I blacked out for about 2 minutes.
I could tell.
I don't know
Just
what
in my
happened.
peripheral. It's okay.
What is going on
I do
today?
that constantly. Make sure you include your ages and anyone else who's involved in the story ages. If it's about a relationship, how long you've been dating, everything that could influence and will influence the kind of advice that we give and like the most accurate, most helpful. If you want to let us know your pronouns, please do. And it's all anonymous. Anything else? Oh, you should be 18 or over, have your parents' permission. Are there even any 18-year-olds who are still? I wonder. Is this crazy though? There are definitely some people who were like 18 when the podcast started.
Yeah, there's some people that are younger. We'll hear that today, later, when we do our review.
Oh no. Children, this is not the place, but the children love the books. It's from Elf.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Elf?
No.
What's your Christmas movie?
I just told you.
Okay.
Mean Girls
And the
Dream Girls.
Dream Girls. Do you think Die Hard's a Christmas movie? Are you on Mott's team?
I do, but it takes place at Christmas time, therefore it's a Christmas movie in the same way that Mean Girls is a Christmas movie.
Yeah. I think if there's a Christmas scene, if
Mhm.
there's snow on the ground, if there's any sort of like jingle jingle, I don't even need a Santa. I don't need any of like the traditional like Christmas aspect.
Fuck. You didn't hear the pre one that went off? That's why
I heard the
said-
pre one, but I didn't know the second one. It's 4th of
Y'all, it's 4th of July. There will be bangs. I don't know why. It is
I thought you meant
freaking no.
I was like, I don't want to
not
get hit
hair
with
bangs.
the firework and then suddenly have bangs.
There's gonna be a lot of bang bang booms going on. It is 3:19 in the PM. These people cannot even see the fireworks, but for some reason they're going off, and like a few minutes ago they went off so hard that it was making car alarms go off.
It's horrible. We hate fireworks. Hear Melissa's pitch on fuck fireworks on a previous episode of our other podcast.
But am I wrong?
So if you see us fucking jump and you hear a loud bang, that's what it is. Hate it, hate it, hate it. So what's new with you?
I don't know what's going on. My ceiling fell in.
Oh yeah, tell that. Deep breath.
I know. So today is what? Monday? Last Wednesday, I was just chilling in my bed as you usually do while I'm doing some work.
Were you naked?
Yes.
Terrifying.
I was actually talking to my mom on the phone too when this was happening. And so then my alarm goes off. My smoke detector alarm goes off. And I wasn't cooking or anything, so there was no reason for it to be going off. So it goes off. I get up and I hit the button. Well, I say, oh, fuck, I have to go. Absolutely terrifying my mom on the phone.
Yeah.
Hang up the phone. Get up and I press the button, and in a little hole where the light is for the smoke detector, little juicy juice came out. And I was like, that's weird. But the alarm went off. And then I sat back down and I called my mom. I'm like, I'm fine. My smoke detector's going off for some reason. Then it went off again. So I unscrewed it and I was like, I know the battery, because when the battery went out it was like a couple months ago, it made the noise and I had to get up. Well, it was making that chirpy noise.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I know the battery's not dead because I just changed this battery. So I get up, take it down, and brown water drips all over me.
Naked.
And I was like, no, I had put on a shirt by that point.
I'm so glad.
Me too.
I'm so glad.
It was just something weird about climbing up on a step ladder with no clothes on. It just didn't feel right. I had to put some on.
It feels like you have to do a performance. You're doing that.
Right. So then I took it down and I was like, what the fuck? And so then water's coming out, and you know that it has the part of the alarm that's attached the battery is essentially just backup and then attached to the actual electricity. And I was like, I have to get this out of here because this is electricity and it's wet. And the only way you can get it out is if you use like a little screwdriver. So I'm standing on a metal step ladder with a metal screwdriver. So I'm like, okay, Melissa, put on your Crocs so then you can have like
trying to like stop the conduction.
Yeah, and then hold on to the plastic part of the ladder, and then make sure you only touch the plastic part of the screwdriver. So I'm
biology.
Doing this. Yes.
Science.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
physics-ish.
Yeah.
So I'm jiggling it. It comes down. More water comes out. But I'm like, okay, we're fine. I guess there's water trapped in here. I don't know where it's coming from. Then I take the screwdriver and put it back in my case. And then when I come back, that's the part of the story I kept forgetting. That's what it is. So I put the screwdriver in the case, come back, and then there's a crack in the ceiling, and then the dribble. Then I was like, fuck, I gotta get out of here. Take my laptop, go in the living room, go back. By the time I get back, there's a huge crack in the ceiling, and then a part of it just like comes off, and then more came off, and more dribbling.
It's huge.
It's huge. And then so it apparently came from, not apparently, it actually came from my air conditioner, which was apparently installed incorrectly.
Yeah.
So it was holding water. Yeah. So I had no air conditioning for one night. I sleep naked, and I'm a very hot, like if I don't have my temperature on 62, I wake up in the middle of the night covered in sweat.
You're a toasty sleeper.
Yeah. So I was covered in sweat that first night. I've been sleeping on my couch. I thought it would make my back hurt, but actually my couch is pretty.
It's pretty wide too.
It's a wide, firm couch, so it's actually been pretty. I think it might actually be better for my back than my bed is.
Damn.
Yeah. So I've been good. Thanks for everyone for your concerns, messages that were sent. A lot of people were like, "You need to go to a hotel," and I was like, "No." I also work remotely, and hotels have the worst internet, and I send very large video and audio files daily, so there's no way I could go to a hotel.
And the good thing about it is, for I don't know whatever fucking reason, it decided to like, I don't even know how. I would have thought 6 months later it would have been rotting and molding, and then it would have fallen out. Like the plaster just came off, but like the wood is fine.
Everything's fine.
So
yeah, and I was almost guilt tripped into going to my cousin's wedding. That would have been last week, and I wouldn't have been home when all that happened. So, this is a note to everyone. When you feel in your gut that you shouldn't go somewhere,
don't go.
Don't go. Because all that would have happened and I wouldn't have been here.
I think about that a lot. I don't subscribe to the FOMO, the fear of missing out. I have regret of going. And so that's why I'm like, should I go? Should I not? And I was like, you're never going to regret going. Like, no, I always, without a doubt, if I don't want to go.
Yeah.
We'll
like my
regret it.
uncles were like, we can pay if you can't. I was like, I can't afford. I don't want to go.
Yeah, I got a massive net worth. Add it to Google. Yeah, I don't wanna.
Yeah. Star of my family, Adriana.
Oh, icon.
She was TikToking from the wedding. And she had one that said, "It's too loud here."
I've never related more.
Yeah, it was just looking like this. And I said, yeah. That's how mostly functions are.
That's how everything, the world is too, I think that all the time. Everything is too loud and too bright. Everything is loud and bright.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm so happy that you're okay. So happy that it's like not horrific. And you got she got her AC
the
fixed
AC was
quickly.
fixed by the next day at noon.
I was concerned about you and your night sweats.
Yeah, because I did that one night. I did wake up. I was wearing a t-shirt, which I usually don't wear, on top of my sheets that I had on the couch, and I woke up just covered in sweat. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna lay back down with this t-shirt on. No, I had to take it off.
Yeah.
It was just like gross.
As someone who no longer has central AC, I do understand the waking up covered in sweat and having to disrobe. But I didn't even tell you this. Found something so exciting at our house the other day. Some little mouse droppings.
Oh no.
But the good thing is I only found them in one little section of the, like one little spot, not in the kitchen, not in any area like that. And immediately we just figured out we have this vent that, like, I don't know, it's an old house. So I'm kind of like, what is this? Like, what are vents for in general? But like, what is this vent for that like the grates are like this wide?
Especially
and
if you don't
just goes to the foundation. And I was like, of course.
That's where the
mouse
that's where
like,
Mickey and the gang
yeah.
are hanging out.
So we blocked that off. And we're going to get that replaced. But yeah, homes.
Yeah.
Houses.
I was
life.
supposed to be on a yacht yesterday, shaking my ass, but I couldn't because I got behind on my work.
Whose yacht?
Don't ask close questions.
Okay. Can I ask them off camera?
Yeah.
Great. How big is a yacht? Would you get car sick on a yacht? No. Boat sick. Seasick.
Seasick. Because they're so big that they don't have as much, like...
I know cruise ships are like that, but like, how big are yachts?
It was a big yacht.
Wow.
Do I necessarily like boats? No. But if there's a yacht involved. Right.
Yachts are different. That's a vibe.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this like a relationship that you can continue to... I feel like we're being so obscure about this that, like, you know, that like on like those like Hollywood blinds or whatever, like a yacht, like a yachter, like a yachty, like girl or whatever. It's like the term for like women in Hollywood who are paid sex
ladies
workers.
Of the night.
Ladies of the sea. Ladies of the boat.
Poseidon's horse.
Poseidon's pussy. Like that's what it says.
No, that was not me.
You know, I got invited to Yacht Week with Tinder. I didn't go because I was like, what the fuck am I going to do there? I was like, I don't drink. Who am I going to bring? And they're like, you can come solo. And I was like, this sounds like the beginning of a really scary movie. But to be fair, they should rebrand like yachting instead of being like an old, like, I don't know, like oil money and like buying like young girls to come on. It should just be like, we are friends going on a yacht together. Like we should make yachting more innocent.
Did you see the boat movies they have now? Where you can get a boat and then go watch the movie? It's here in LA. You're
like the boat movie, and I was like,
no. Titanic?
No. Shipping Julia?
Oh,
Royal Caribbean? I was like, that's technically a ship. We weren't allowed to call it a boat. That was a big thing. Anyways, I guess we should actually start giving some advice.
But before we do that, we don't have a call in this episode, but we did have somebody write in. This is an update from season 9, episode 26, Good Guys Coming Off Wrong. Hey, Meghan and Melisa, I wanted to identify myself as the caller from yesterday's episode whose boyfriend's friends made the cake with the slur on it. You guys validated so many of my many thoughts and emotions that I have pushed aside and also helped me to look at the situation through perspectives I haven't previously considered. I was in tears listening yesterday because it all felt so reassuring, but also so scary. My boyfriend's friendship with those guys has been a source of contention in our relationship for a long time. However, I think I've been in denial about just how shitty his friends are and how much my boyfriend's friendship with them reflects not only on my boyfriend, but on myself as well. I'm feeling pretty lost and don't know where to go from here. But I do know I'll be doing some deep reflection to decide what steps I need to take next. Your advice was hard to hear, but truly appreciate your candor and bluntness. Thank you for giving me the tough love I needed.
Wow. I'm glad. I know it was definitely hard to hear, but to reiterate again, you know, you're so much better than this relationship.
I think she knows that too.
Yeah. And I think that's probably the hardest part when you like realize that, you know? Anyways, okay, let's actually give some advice.
I guess.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. First off, love the pod. But let's get right into it. I got cut off last time. So I am 21. My pronouns are she, her. and there are a couple different people in this. First off is my boyfriend. We're going to call him Logan. He is 22, pronouns he, him. The other person is my boyfriend's sister. We're going to call her Rory. She is 31, pronouns she, her. And the final person is Rory's husband. Let's call him Jeff, and he is 25, pronouns he, him. Other than the fact that their relationship has such a large age gap, he is also, just for context, not from the United States, and he does not speak much English. They came to visit us. We live in a different state from them, and they stayed with us in our house for a week. It was really nice. They've done this before, but it was really nice because we were able to communicate with Jess a lot better than last time. So that was really, really nice and genuinely really surprising. He has been learning so much, and I pretty much had no issues communicating with him, and he had no issues communicating with me. It was great. But other than all of that greatness, he drank all of our tea. Jess and Logan both like the same type of tea, and we bought some for Logan so that he could have it. We assumed that Rory would buy Dean his own tea, but they didn't, and they drank all of our tea without asking. It's a little frivolous, but it kind of made us really upset. They just didn't ask, and that was what was really frustrating. And secondly, I was having a really bad day, did not feel well, and they went to go pick up dinner on their way home from visiting a friend's house, and they were 2.5 hours later than they were supposed to be. They are always late to everything, and that's really frustrating. But my question for you guys is, what do we do when they come visit next time? How do we approach that conversation of just general respect in being a house guest? They're with us for a week every time. But yeah, it's a little confusing, but thanks for the help, guys.
Are these names from your TV show?
Was it Lori or Rory?
I don't know.
No, but they're not. I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, Rory and Logan. No, because that would be weird, because then you would make Rory and Logan siblings. So I thought it was Lori. So we have caller, then boyfriend was Logan. We're going to say sis was Lori, even if they said Rory, because that would be too gross for me. And then the sister's husband is Jeff. Maybe you shouldn't have house guests.
Yeah. When you have house guests, I think it's expected of you to provide things for them, like amenities, even though it's not a hotel, but like if there's tea there, then people are going to drink the tea.
Yeah, you don't get like a per diem. Like you can have one of these and then no more.
Or you need to bring your own, which is what you were expecting. And then also, like, if they're there visiting and then they're also visiting other friends, I don't think you can put a timeline on them bringing you food.
Yeah.
Because they were having a good time with their other friends too. In this case, I think you were being a bad host and they weren't specifically being bad guests.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. And like some people just aren't like hosts. Some people aren't cut out for hosting in the sense that like they just like don't enjoy it. They don't like it. And most of the time, like that means like you're kind of more territorial about your space. Like you're really particular about how you like your space to be, how like you like your bathroom to be cleaned, like all of these different things. And that's very, very, very okay. But then you just can't host people because like it makes other people uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't like people in my house.
Yeah. Like, I think that's like, the anticipating like, oh, well, this isn't exactly how we thought it was kind of going to go. It's never going to go how you think it's going to go because like, you have to remember like they're on vacation time. Mm-hmm. They're on a vacation and you are hosting. And those are two like really different experiences. And so I agree with you when you're like, okay, well, if you're going to count on someone to like bring you home food, you're the host and they are on vacation time. Mm-hmm. And like, you can't really assume that that's going to like work out how you want it to. That might just mean that like when they come visit, they need to like stay with someone else and like schedule to like have dinner with you guys and not stay there with you, or like you schedule outings to do with each other. But in general, I just don't think that you and your boyfriend like hosting in a way that I think you like the idea of hosting if you can do it exactly how you feel kind of it should go and like comfortable with it. But I do agree. I think in this case, I don't think they were being bad house guests because I also like, what do you mean? Like, how do you ask if I can have another, I don't know, like, I think the best kind of hosts and that stuff is like when you show people around and you're going to be staying here, like make yourself at home, like grab whatever you want. Like this is this in here. And sometimes like, sure, if there is like something that I've like made, like leftovers I've made that like, I'm going to take this to work tomorrow or something, I would be like, oh, heads up, this I'm taking to work tomorrow. They'll make it again this week so you can try it. It's great. But, like, these are the things that, like, I drink this almond milk. I bought an extra almond. I bought this kind of milk because I think that you drink it. But if you want almond milk, let me know and I'll grab an extra one. Like, I think there's a way to, like, still, I'm very adamant in my routine. And I think there's a way to be able to do that while still being, like, a gracious and giving kind of host. But I just don't think that they were disrespectful.
No, I don't either. And if you are the kind of person that just wants things for yourself, then hide it.
Yeah.
Put it up so other people can't touch it, or let them know, like, this is for me.
Yeah. This might just not be your calling.
Yeah. It's not mine. I know that.
That's fair. I like to host. It's just, you know, I feel like I'm a pretty realistic host. Like when my friend Kyle will come and visit and stay, if he's then visiting other friends or whatever, like during the day, I'll be like, okay, text me if you want to have dinner text me by 7 and I'll include you in our plans for dinner. And if I don't hear from you by 7, like you'll come back and crash at our place whenever you get home, but we're not going to eat together. And it's, you know, whatever you want.
I recently had a breakup with my boyfriend of 3.5 years. We had been living together throughout that entire time. And it's been about 3 weeks since we broke up. What seems like him potentially being open to basically redating again seems like something he wants to do. Keep in mind, he was the one who initiated the breakup, and I obviously didn't ask for the breakup, but I've done a lot of, you know, really reassessing, reevaluating, and really coming to terms with the breakup in the last 3 weeks. And because of all this, it seems like he essentially, you know, believes that this could be a really good new relationship. So he's told me that he's open to taking it slow, essentially, which means like, you know, dates every week or every 2 weeks, and essentially just that. No moving back in together, no staying the nights until, you know, that's a thing maybe we're interested in doing. And of course, some physical boundaries in that sense. I guess I was just curious as to what you guys maybe think. I'm definitely hopeful that during this, maybe he'll rediscover the relationship and also this new relationship essentially, and kind of give me a chance to really show him how well of a relationship this really could be between us. But I guess I'm also just having some anxiety over whether I'm putting myself a little too much out on the line for potentially being rejected again, or maybe I should just stay present day by day in this taking it slow kind of process.
Why did you break up?
Yeah, I don't think we have enough information here.
Yeah. It sounds like he gave you like a trial period to like improve to then now it's like, maybe I do want to date you again. And like you're winning him back and like earning him back. But like, did you do something?
Right. And y'all live together?
And he moved out within 3 weeks. Were you on a lease? How did that work?
Yeah. Questions. I have questions. I mean, I can give advice on this.
Yeah.
I mean, we will give advice on this, but I need to
Call
know,
us back.
like, what did you do? What did he do? Why'd you break up?
Because right now I don't like him.
I don't have feelings
That's
for
the
him
correct way to do it.
or for her.
But I'm biased.
And you said that he was the one that broke up with you. So like, what happened? So based on the information that we have, there's no new relationship. Like you already have, since you live together, I'm guessing you're in love with each other. You already have been in love with each other. I'm sure these feelings haven't gone away for you, at least. So I can understand people like needing time apart and then maybe coming back together. But like, what happened to make this, and why are things different now?
In 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And also, how does he know things are different in 3 weeks? Have you been in contact, like, still? Like, how does he know if you're not living together still? If he's like, oh, this could be a whole new relationship. How? Like, how does he even know that?
They're still talking.
And are you trying to, like, the way you're saying this, like, I think I could show him how good, like, it feels like everything's resting on you and you're like, well, I don't want to be rejected again. And, like, who knows? I just want you to call us back and, like, maybe you did something horrible and, like, he's having second thoughts. And then in which case I would probably tell him if he was calling in, like, no, like, there hasn't been enough time for you to actually see an improvement. Right now, what you're seeing is, like, you're missing.
You're longing for this.
Exactly. Like, it's that longing and you're mourning the relationship that you thought you had or what you had for a time period, but, like, not what it was actually. And there's a reason why you broke up. But if you didn't do any of that, then, like, I would kind of feel like for him, if this is just something that you were kind of, like, blindsided with, it just feels like so abrupt. Like, living with a partner, 3.5 years together, like, that's a long time. Living with a partner is, like, a very big thing. And, like, we've had people who've lived together and, like, they weren't not after they broke up, they still were together, like, in the house after 3 weeks. Like, it's a really, like, quick and swift, like, exit. And then just to kind of come back in, to me, if it was like you were blindsided and there wasn't anything really that you did in the relationship that you recognized was like, oh, this was a problem that led to the demise of the relationship and I saw it coming and I knew that because I, like, consequences of my actions. This feels kind of like a cat and mouse, like, power kind of, like, puppeteering game where it's like, do you know, like, want to see how high you can jump for this and, like, earn me back and do all of this kind of stuff. But, like, even the boundaries of, like, we're going to set all these physical boundaries and then we're only going to have, like, a date 1 to 2 times a week. Like, I agree with what you said. Like, I think taking time apart, especially when you're young in a relationship, to then come back together totally makes sense. But this is just trying to take steps backwards. And it's not like you're new people and you don't know each other. And it's like, okay, well, we broke up. We haven't seen each other in, like, 2 years and we're going to start taking it slow again. It's like, oh, last month we were sleeping in the same bed every night. We lived together and we shared our utility bill. And now we're going out every other week. And that, to me, like, is just going to breed, like, an immense amount of, like, paranoia and jealousy because then he's also casually dating other people. And then when do you move back in? Like, it's
right.
This just seems like really chaotic. And even though I love chaos, like, I don't like this.
I think y'all need more time apart to figure out who you are outside of this relationship. And then after that, if you want to start dating again, okay. But, like, it seems like trust needs to be rebuilt. And I don't think there's been enough time in between that. But please call back and let us know what happened.
Yeah. Because you said, like, should I put myself, like, I feel like I'm out on the line and I'm just going to, like, get rejected. Like, there's a fear of that, or taking it slow and just be present. I think there's a very high likelihood that you are, like, I think you are really putting yourself out there on the line, and there's a very high likelihood you will be rejected. You know, it's hard to know, though, without the rest of the details. So give us a call back.
All right. Time for a break.
Woohoo! Wow. How was your break?
Honestly, I kept thinking about you having that pin in between the cushions, and it was making me very uncomfortable.
Why? It was this way.
That's exactly. So when I was
in your butt.
I told you the story when I sat on. Did I not tell you the story?
No.
There was a pencil that was like mechanical pencil that was up on a couch like that, and I didn't know it was there. And I had on shorts. I was in, like, 3rd grade. I had on shorts. And then it poked me in the butt.
Anus or ass cheek?
Ass cheek.
Okay.
And it was called lead butt by my sisters because of this. But
maybe that's why you got a thick
ass. But it was very triggering for me.
Oh, I apologize.
All right, next call.
Yes.
I, she, her, and my boyfriend, he, him, have been together around 3 years. We both recently turned 21. Around the time we started dating, I had actually signed up for a trip to travel around South America with a tour company. It just kept getting pushed back because of COVID, and now that we're finally able to travel, I actually wasn't able to cancel or get a full refund, so I'm going on this trip. Flight leaves next week. My boyfriend was supposed to drop me off at the airport. When I asked him if he could a couple weeks ago, I mentioned if he couldn't, I would ask someone else. Since he has to work early in the morning, there was a little bit of a miscommunication, and he thought I meant I would use him as a backup plan, but he just took the morning off just in case. Since I hadn't mentioned it until right now, he actually scheduled a haircut appointment, and that's what I found out this morning. I didn't want him to cancel his haircut or his appointment, so I just got somebody else to give me the ride. It really wasn't that big a deal. I guess the real problem here is that we have had some trouble communicating almost. My love language is definitely acts of service and quality time, while his is words of affirmation or like touch. I know he doesn't mean anything bad by not offering to take me anyways after he found out, or like canceling his appointment. I don't know how to express to him, not necessarily in this situation, but just in general, that something like this, situation like this, where I need him to drop me off, it's more than just a ride. It's, knowing that he wants to drop me off, that whole thing of like, if he wanted to, he would almost. This isn't that big a problem. I just don't want it to become one, because obviously we express love and receive love in different ways, and I just want to continue a healthy relationship. So I just don't know how to do that with different love languages, and I'd love some advice. I love your podcast. Thank you to both of you. And since I have a little bit extra time, I'm an Aries and my boyfriend's a Pisces. I'm not sensitive at all. Give it to me if you have to.
I never want to take anyone to the airport. I just want to contest if he wanted to, he would. I personally never want to take anyone to the airport.
I thought you just meant.
Oh, no. Okay. Like, no matter how much I love someone, like, I will totally drive Mats to the airport. But if Mats is like, oh, I can just like take an Uber, I'm not going to insist. Like, no, I will totally take you. But I would prefer if he picked you up from the airport, but I'm not going to say, oh, I'll just take an Uber. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
depends on what airport, to be fair, too.
Right. But also, like, you're going on like an international trip that your boyfriend doesn't want to like say bye to you. Like, you're going to be gone for a few weeks. I forgot. Feel like that is a problem.
Yeah, the haircut thing is weird.
Like, even if you were the backup, I mean, if he was the backup, then why did he schedule the appointment?
Or like not be like, hey, heads up, I was thinking of booking it. Like, am I going to drive here? No, because like I was thinking I already took the morning off, so I might get a haircut if I'm not.
Yeah. I don't like this at all. Like, I really don't like this. And I don't like you saying like, it's not that big of a deal. If it wasn't that big of a deal, then you wouldn't be calling. Don't downplay how you're actually feeling about the situation. I think you need to have like an upfront conversation about maybe you didn't communicate your thoughts and feelings on this. Maybe, and then he made the wrong assumptions about what was going on. So y'all have to like talk things out and make appointments and say that like, and making an appointment sounds weird, like in a relationship, but like if this is something that you wanted to do, if you wanted him to be there to say goodbye to you, to take you to the airport, then maybe you didn't communicate it clear enough that that's what he needed to do. But again, even if he thought he was going to be the backup, why did he schedule the haircut?
Yeah. I also just think that's like so weird to like, it feels kind of like performative in like I'm taking the morning off. And then it's like, oh, I scheduled a haircut. And it's like, oh, so the implication that when you took the morning off was that you were going to be taking me because you're taking the morning off. And then what?
And I hate to be this person. I just got this
who's
really
getting a haircut at 8 a.m.?
No, but I just got a really like toxic thought in my head. Like, who are you getting this haircut for? I'm going out of town.
This is what is this for? For your dick pics, like your selfies, your nudes? You include your head?
But you're going out of town. These were the last few moments that you're going to be spending together. Even if he needed a haircut, the time that y'all would have been spending on dates when you were in town, he could go get a haircut then. It's
weird.
It does not sit well with my spirit.
No, I agree. I also I want to know how it was like a miscommunication, because like for me, I'm like, how does that, was it actually miscommunication and you did like, you mixed up your words of being like, because if you literally said to him, so I'm leaving, my flight's booked at this time, if you could take me, that would be great. If you can't, I'm sure I could probably find someone else. And then he is like, yeah, I'll take work off the morning, and then we move on from that. That is implied that he's taking you. And so like, I don't know if you actually communicated poorly, or if like he was in like, oh, I didn't understand, you didn't express this, because
why did he take the morning off?
Why?
Like, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. That's exactly it. Like, it doesn't, that being his response doesn't make sense if you miscommunicated it. I think the only way you really could have miscommunicated this is like if you really, really backtracked and like you really beat around the bush. Like, so my flight's leaving here. I already talked to so-and-so. They said they could take me, but like, you know, they can't, like maybe someone else could take me, and like this person could take me. And if they can't, like, just like, you know, maybe if you're around, like as a, and he'd be, yeah, no, if like everybody else in the world can't take you, like maybe I can. Because that's like kind of the only way that I see this being like a miscommunication on your part. But again, like, then that wouldn't warrant him taking the morning off of work.
And that wouldn't warrant him scheduling the haircut then either.
Exactly. So I don't think that you miscommunicated it. I think like, I understand the phrase, if he wanted to, he would. I also think it's important to like, make sure we state in relationships what we want, because like you said, you have very different love languages. And I don't always want to do something because it's not like the thing that's like right off the top of my head, but it's not like a hassle or something I hate doing. And then knowing that like how my partner views that, or like what that like makes them so happy, I'm like, oh my God, now I want to do that, because I don't necessarily get gratification from it, but like you do. And that makes me feel great. So I think that like, yeah, we should tell people what we want, but I just don't know how this conversation could have gone where you miscommunicated this. Like, to me, this just sounds like
he's making an excuse.
Yeah. Like he didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. He was never going to take you to the airport. He had already taken that day off to get a haircut. That's what I think happened.
That would actually make sense. Yeah. But like 3 years, you're right. I didn't even think about that, like being far away for like, you're going for like a long period of time. Yeah. But even saying, if you can't, I'll ask someone else. Like, if you can't, that means you have to tell me that you can't.
But he could.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think you're saying that you're having communication issues, which then gives me an indicator that this has continued and happened, and you more likely than not were pretty clear, and he's continued to not misunderstand you, but choose that you said something else that fits what he wanted to do and like fits his life, and then made you feel like you were doing a poor job communicating. This just seems like you're communicating and he's just not listening.
Yep. Hope you have a great trip.
Until you're already there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I bet you talked shit about your boyfriend the whole car ride there. As you should.
Agree.
Don't text him while you're there.
Do you want them to break up for good?
No. I just want to see if he texts her first and like he starts pursuing all of that
I thought you meant just text, period.
Oh no, don't like ghost.
Don't be the one that...
No.
That would be awful.
That'd be like pretty bad. No, I mean in like the sense of like, you know.
Don't do it first.
No, and like don't extend that olive branch and like have him put that effort in at this point, because he hasn't.
I'm Meghan and Melisa. I am a 21-year-old Black woman, and I'm in need of some advice on how to not second-guess myself when I'm setting a boundary. I've been in therapy since freshman year of high school, but I just started doing the heavy work in summer of 2020. Recently, I've been finally starting to see my growth and improvement in terms of relationships and having more respect for myself. About a couple of months ago, I decided to put myself out there and started talking to a guy who's also Black and in his 20s. There were multiple red flags and signs for me to cut him off, but I seemed to justify it by just looking at his potential rather than who he is. I didn't want to accept the facts because I was really attracted to him and we really hit it off during our first 2 dates. However, I felt this cycle repeating itself, and I knew it was something I had to break, so I told myself I wouldn't let this go on any longer. Well, the next day he posted something that was making fun of Jada Pinkett Smith at the Oscars, and I knew I couldn't let it slide. I decided to tell him I didn't want to talk to him anymore because Black women have been the butt of a joke for too long and it's not okay. His response was, I don't think Black women have ever been the butt of a joke, and at least it's coming from a Black man instead of a white person. While I know I am justified in my decision to cut him off, I know his actions and responses were ignorant.
I can't help but second guess myself and feel like I'm in the wrong. My therapist has brought it to my attention that childhood trauma often leaves people feeling unable to trust ourselves and feeling guilty when we finally stop people pleasing and stand up for what we believe. I just wish I could stop feeling so guilty and just feel proud of myself for cutting off a guy much sooner than my past self would have. My question is, if you've ever felt guilty for setting a boundary or cutting someone off like this, how did you work through it and reassure yourself that you weren't wrong for doing so? Thanks, and I love the podcast.
I hate him.
I hate him too. I have felt guilty for setting boundaries sometimes because you think that you're missing out on something, like if they would just do this, then everything would be fine. Or if I just did this, then I can look past that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when you're looking like directly at the situation and not looking at it big picture. Because when you keep making allowance, there's a difference from allowances and compromises. And when you keep making allowances for people and excusing their bad behavior and thinking that, like, if I just do this one thing and I can teach them, then they'll be okay. But all it is that you're doing work for free that you're getting zero return on because you told him how you felt about the situation. You told him how it made you feel. And then he said that not only was it that Black women are not the butt of the jokes, which you and I know is not the truth. He also said at least it wasn't a white man. It shows that he doesn't stand up or defend Black women. He has no respect for you, and he's going to continue to have no respect for you until he grows up, if he grows up. And so you did the right thing. You know you did the right thing. And as your therapist says, sometimes trauma makes you think that, you're not doing the right thing. But we can tell you, like, you did what was
Without
best,
doubt.
not just for you, but for women, Black women as a whole. So good for you.
Yeah. I think something like exactly like you're saying with boundaries where it can feel like, well, if I could just do this, or like this could be this could change. Like, I think that boundaries are all about us. Like when we set boundaries, it's like my own personal boundaries. Other people can't cross my boundaries because my boundaries are this is what, or I'm out. And like, it's not an ultimatum. It's just like, that's what that is. At the same time, I think if you're not like ready to date yet, the innate selfishness of boundaries where they are truly like all about you, they're not about anybody else, can make you feel like, well, why am I setting this back? Like if I just did this, or if I didn't do this, like I could do this. And it becomes like you start seeing your boundaries as opposed to like brick walls as like moldable things, and then feeling guilty about your own boundaries. I think personally, like in practice, setting boundaries, I think the first couple times or even other instances, you might like feel guilty. But I think if you are continuing to kind of feel that way for like weeks and weeks on end, I think it's maybe like, I'm not picking the people, like who I'm talking to and who I'm starting to date. I'm not picking people who are even set up at all to respect my boundaries. So I'm like, I am going to get disappointed. I'm going to get hurt, and I'm going to be faced with a lot of like pushback to my boundaries. And that's not a way to feel good about boundaries. Like it is a hard thing to set boundaries. And I think in practice, it should be the first boundaries you set are with things that I think like you can feel like better about and like you can feel like kind of good about. I don't think like when it comes to like toxic family members aren't usually the first boundaries that you set. Maybe it's a new person that you date that you've been on one date with who seems kind of cool to kind of like test that out. But it's a very normal feeling to feel kind of guilty. And that doesn't say anything about your boundaries. It says everything about like the person and him on the other side of it.
And you saw before he even made that post, you saw red flags before that. So there were things that you saw before that led you. So it wasn't just one thing. This was the last thing. But you saw things before that led you to get there. You ignored them. That's kind of like in your mind, kind of the compromise. And then you said that you saw potential there, but I think we have to stop seeing potential in people. I honestly think because
who doesn't have potential?
Right, everyone has potential, but like potential is what you want it to be and not what that person wants. And so if you're seeing something that that other person doesn't see, then that means that like you're trying to make them into becoming who you want them to be and not who they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also think with boundaries, something that was really helpful for me to kind of reframe and understand like how it made me feel better about setting boundaries is that your boundaries are pretty much kind of everyone's boundaries. Like we all have boundaries and they're not like really drastically that different. It's just a matter of who you're having those talks with and conversations with and who you have to explicitly set those boundaries with. Because I felt like very guilty of being like, oh, this is something that I have to do because like, you know, childhood trauma, like this is, I'm damaged, or this is something that like not everyone else has to do that. And then I realized my relationships, like I wasn't setting boundaries in every single relationship. And it wasn't that those relationships were incredibly like different or I was asking for other things of those relationships. I was like, oh, that respect is inherently there. And I think in general, boundaries are most used in relationships that are not usually innately the healthiest for you.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so that's like you set boundaries with like toxic family members so you can't, or like coworkers, things that you, like those long-term boundaries that will forever exist within a relationship, because that's the only way to kind of maintain that relationship, because that relationship isn't healthy. So you have to create these parameters to make it healthy. And then I think there's individual boundaries when it comes to like, oh, I'm processing and dealing with some personal trauma. So in my other relationships, I want to set a boundary that this is not something I want to talk about for a time being or whatever it is. And you can like set those things. But I think when you're dating, if you find that you are having to like set these very clear boundaries with someone and it feels like you said, like you're compromising on the, what was the word you used?
I don't know, but I really liked what
Me
I said.
too. Exactly what you were saying with that. There's like, I think early on in relationships, I think setting boundaries is really good if it comes to like, I mean, I think we should all be setting boundaries when it comes to like personal autonomy and all of those things. But if you find yourself so early on dating someone and you're constantly having to set new boundaries, I think that's a time of being like, am I personally in a place where I feel comfortable and ready to date in these situations? And or would I be doing this with every person that I date? Is this something that is exclusive to this person? Does that maybe mean that I'm having to like do a lot of like mental health and therapy practice and work in dating this person that like, we're not in a long-term relationship. Like maybe I take a step back from that. Because again, boundaries are super, super, super personal. And you get to decide who you set your boundaries with. And like, I don't know, I think setting a boundary with someone, like when it's a positive, healthy thing and not like, oh, this is a toxic relationship that I need to like set these parameters in. People who you feel comfortable and trustworthy like to set those boundaries with, that is like a one strike you're out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you cross my boundaries one time after I felt then like how after I put them up and then we're done. Like that it is not like you don't get another shot at that. And I think that if your therapist hasn't talked to you about that, that was really helpful for me with my therapist, where she was like, boundaries are not like multiple things that people keep crossing. That is something that you set. And then when someone crosses said boundary or does not adhere to said boundary, that person doesn't respect you because you already clearly communicated it. And that is when you're done. Because otherwise, then you're crossing your own boundary, you know, by like not upholding it because you're the only one who can uphold it. But yeah, I will also say, I don't know if this is any different for you. Did you feel, I think I probably asked you this, but did you feel more confident in your decision making after you turned 25? Or do you feel like it was more just accumulation of decisions?
I don't even say 30.
Yeah.
It's like the older I get, the more confident I get, the more I trust myself.
That's like the biggest thing, like specifically that I felt like every year I've gotten older, specifically every year after 25, when people are like, oh, what happens when you change? Like truly, point blank, I am more confident in my decisions. I'm more confident in my decisions every year. Like every day I get older, I'm more confident in those. And I was not confident in my decisions at 21 years old. Like you are far more self-aware than I was. And I don't know. I think that like, you know, you can maybe look at your peers and feel like everybody's really confident in the choices that they're making. We all fake it a lot. And there's no shame or harm in being like, you know what? I'm not enjoying constantly feeling like I have to like put up these boundaries with these people that I'm dating. Like maybe I just take a break for a bit and, you know, because doing that like hard work, that hard therapy work, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's draining. I really hate him.
Yeah. But I'm glad you have the foresight to end it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And it's a very common thing to not feel like you can trust yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like you started again earlier than me. I'm still unlearning that shit in therapy. Like it's a very, very, very hard one. And early stages of relationships shouldn't be hard. Dating's supposed to be like flirty, fun, like Sex in the City, like, oh my gosh, like, it shouldn't, Everyone should be on their best behavior in that very beginning. And then just think about how much worse he would,
Yeah. Gross.
I hated every man who posted any of that shit.
All right, now it's time for Don't Blame Them.
Woo!
You always do that.
So this is where a listener calls in with their own advice pertaining to a call we had on a previous episode. So maybe they have personal experience, or they have professional insight, or they just have their own shit they want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Great.
Hi, I'm calling for the caller on season 9, episode 23, whose girlfriend broke up with her before they were about to go long distance. So my perspective is from my boyfriend's experience. He's now 28, but he was in a relationship from the time he was 19 to the time he was 24. And during that time, he was dating his girlfriend in college, and then they transitioned to long distance when he entered his 6-year grad program. And they broke up about a year into being long distance. The relationship was really strained, and they had a tough time communicating. And just from his perspective, he was really happy about how that worked out for him, because he was spending so much time trying to organize plans with her, fly back and forth, figure out when they were going to visit. And he wasn't really able to build the kind of relationships that he wanted to initially for that first year. But he ended up making some of his best friends when he was in grad school, people in, different programs, and really getting to know them. And those are his closest friends today. And he doesn't really feel that he would have been able to get to know them in the same way if he was devoting that much time to a long distance relationship for 6 years. So kind of like Meghan and Melisa said, it sounds like a really great opportunity to deepen some new relationships and make some new lifelong friends. I'll also say that my boyfriend is a great partner now, and I feel like he really knows who he is. He's really confident in himself, and I'm really glad, that he took the time to get to know himself and build some relationships. So hope that helps.
Fair.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Grad program takes 6 years? Oh my God.
I thought she was saying that it was like the whole grad program was
a 6-year grad program.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right.
6?
He entered a 6-year grad program. What kind of grad
that's a PhD. Wow.
Well, worked out for them.
Yeah. Worked out. Yeah, this is, the great part. The Don't Blame Them caller, that could be your partner talking about it later on, Like, it was so great. Yeah, I have a lot of people have faith in the independence of moving to a new city without a relationship. I think it's great.
I do too.
So yeah, hope that that original caller, you're in the thick of hot girl summer. I also hope you, like Melissa, have a yacht girl summer.
Yeah, that's coming.
You need you need Meg Thee Stallion to do a yacht song. You need a theme song.
Did you see that video she did when she was on that yacht? And she was twerking, and then there was a storm or something that came while she was on it, and she was like, "Guess I twerked too hard."
Stunning. Lizzo's also having a yacht girl summer. Lizzo's never not on a yacht.
Exactly. Every summer is Lizzo's
in a pool, yacht, pool.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love it. Love it, love it, love it. So if anyone has a yacht, hit us up. We wish you all a beautiful, wonderful, amazing yacht girl summer. Do you want to read a review?
I do.
I can. If you're watching the video on Patreon, which I totally forgot to promote, it's $1 a month to join our Patreon. You just get to support the show, and we do the video versions of the podcast. So if you want to look at our facial expressions and look at Melissa sitting here just expectant on her computer waiting to read this review, sign up on our Patreon. We also do a $5 a month tier where we do live streams twice a month. It's really fun. You get to hang out. It's a great way to make friends.
By the time this comes out, we might have a new tier.
Yeah, we might have a new tier where we're doing a video for the other podcast. So it helps us maintain doing the shows.
It helps us stay afloat, much like a yacht.
Exactly. And maybe one day we can get Mark Cuban and actually deeply profit.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we've got some Monopoly money and a little bit of Neopets cash. Ayo. I'm nervous for this review.
This is from Queen Z678.
Z-Way?
If only. So this person is updating a previous review that they did.
Whew.
So their previous review said, I've seen a lot of 1-stars talking about how Meghan bashes people, and as someone who listens to every episode, I just wanted to comment, if you believe your life is more valuable than other and ignore the CDC's pandemic guidelines, skip this podcast. If you don't believe Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ plus rights, women's rights, or pro-Trump, don't call in. It's not a political issue, it is a moral issue, and if you can't see that, skip this podcast. The fact that people repeatedly call in talking about how they go out to packed clubs every single weekend in the middle of a pandemic that has killed 200,000 Americans and then get upset when they are roasted is dumbfounding. But if you are not a closed-minded white supremacist, you will love this podcast. Update.
This podcast is not for white supremacists. I need to make an Instagram graphic.
Update. I'm a senior and still an avid fan of the podcast, especially during the pandemic. Meghan and Melisa are so funny and give amazing tough love advice. Fan for life. I have never listened to / watched a podcast before into this. I have been watching Meghan since I was a freshman in high school, and I am about to start my sophomore year in college. Don't blame me, it's hilarious, touching, and entertaining all at once. It's great to listen to on a 3-hour drive home from college. It really makes time fly. I absolutely love you, Meghan, and this podcast. Thank you for being your incredible self.
Wow, I want to know, for anyone who has literally watched this content or my other content since you were a child, how did you end up? How'd you turn out?
Well, I believe they turn out
a little chaotic.
That say the CDC's pandemic guidelines.
I can hear. I hear me in that.
Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
Yeah. This is I hear the angry and direct nature, but also the cadence is flowing, it's that's wild. Freshman.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thank you, Queen Z5678.
Thank you so much. Also, can we just talk about how many more people have died of COVID?
I know.
Make sure you go to Turning Point USA. They always have the most up-to-date facts, statistics, numbers. That was sarcasm, everyone.
Yeah.
Turning Point USA is...
That scared me for a second.
No. Because you missed my face. You weren't looking.
I know. My heart accelerated and I had to turn.
Bitch, what? Well, so happy to know that you're still around. I was nervous. You were someone who's younger and we've got an update. And it was oh my God, you had so much, you were so promising. You seemed so great. And I was are you suddenly, are they suddenly a forced birther? And I was oh no, did you go to Florida?
Would I read it?
No. Oh, that is true. You would have. Well, we would have read it off there.
It wouldn't have been on air.
No.
Not these other awful people that have been leaving reviews.
Yeah, some of them are so weird. It's just I get such secondhand embarrassment. Just cringy. It's okay. It's okay. That's it for the episode. Leave us a review. We love to hear from you. And also, maybe you want to leave an update like that. What was the first time you left a review? And then
where are they now?
Yeah. That's a good one to do. I mean, I guess that's kind of our update segment, but maybe we need a Carmen. Where in the world is
Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah, but I need that. Where in the world is the girl whose husband was in a coma?
Where in the world is the girl whose dad wanted to put... No, sorry.
I forgot about
Where
her.
in the world is the girl whose boyfriend's dad was her former hookup and now he wants to put a baby in her? Where have you been?
Yeah. Where have you been? We hope y'all enjoyed. Give us a call for an upcoming episode at 310-694-0976. International listeners, send an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Updates, shoot us an email if you want to give us an update on a previous call that you have left us. If we have more questions, we can get an update, find out what's currently happening. And
if you're giving updates, please don't say, I was the caller in the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Please say what episode it was.
Because, yeah, we pre-record, so we don't know what the last episode, the last episode you heard was.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are the caller talking about the breakup from this week's episode, give us a call back. Stat, would love to get you literally on in the next episode we record so we can figure that out more. Vote in your local elections. Donate to local abortion funds if you have the time and capacity. Donate your time. You can also donate resources, share links, educate the people in your life, but also protect your energy in your own space. What should they comment? Should we just comment like some good news of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something good that's happened to you recently or anything great.
That's good.
That's good. Okay. We will see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts and Diamond Imprint Productions. Edited by Coco Lawrence. Post-production sound by Chris Henry. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson. Music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests to share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Do you love Disney? Do you love top 10 lists? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the Magical Millennial.
And I'm the Dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. The parks, the movies, the music, the food, the lore. There is nothing we don't cover on our show.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed.
I had Danielle and Megan record some answers to seemingly meaningless questions. I asked Danielle what insect song is typically higher pitched in hotter temperatures and lower pitched in cooler temperatures.
You got this.
No, I didn't.
Don't believe that. About a wish coming true? Well, I didn't either. Of course, I'm just a
cicada. I'm crying. I'm so sorry.
You win that one.
So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.